question raises the question of the issue of participation of Africa in the global policy-making framework, where, as Joe just mentioned, if you're not in the room, then you don't influence the decisions. Or to be more blunt, there's this saying that when you are not at the table, you are on the menu. It means that your interests, people will not eat you, but they'll eat your interest and your rights. And this really is a good illustration of what happens in tax matters for African countries, because the discussions about what tax should be decided, how the taxation should work, is done by the group of rich countries, who, by the way, are the ones who own those big corporations. They are headquartered in these corporations. So you would imagine that these negotiations will be influenced by big corporations, because we know how the political system works in these countries. The lobbies are financed by big corporations, so they are the ones who are going to influence the debate. And when African countries' voices are not heard around the table, of course the deal will be unbalanced. And this is frustrating, again, in the sense that we end up with a system that allows to milk African resources in the interest of multinational corporations, and that explains the huge outflow of capital that's leaking out of the countries. It is financial flows. Our own estimates show that by the end of 2018, Africa had lost up to $2 trillion through capital flight. That's more than the total GDP of the sub-Saharan African countries. About 60 billion per year leaks out of the continent in terms of illicit financial flows. That's much more than aid. Aid is about 35 billion. So tax features in the picture because one of the motivation for illicit financial flows is the evasion of taxation. People park their money abroad to avoid taxation. I think the solution is to get Africa at the table when these issues are being discussed. The solution is to move the discussion of taxation to a more inclusive framework, not through the G20, but through the UN, where African countries also can have a voice. And then the implementation has to consider also what Africa can benefit in terms of technical assistance, capacity building, so they can actually manage their fiscal regimes better.